I'm very excited about this video because I have been pondering all of this and putting the information together in my head for 3 years. Everything I'm giving you right now is scalable, but we're going to talk about a half an acre. So I'm even going to tell you the dimensions of the paddocks. I'm going to tell you how to make sure you don't have any flies on your land. I'm going to bring all of the best ideas. There's nothing I haven't seen or read on this, and present you with ideas to give you some more nuggets to add to your plan. Now, a half acre lot is intended for a smaller cow, like a Jersey Mini or a Dexter. Now, the Dexter is good for meat and milk, but Jerseys provide the best milk with the most cream. If you're planning on doing cheese, you might be looking at a Jersey or a Jersey Mini. If the father of the cow had horns, your cow will have horns. You could dehorn it, or you could just get a cow that was born from a male bull that didn't have horns. Cows involuntarily move their heads to swat flies, so probably go without horns if you want it to be around the kids. You're looking at a bird's eye view of 8 paddocks on a half acre. Now, actually, the paddocks 1 through 8 added together equal a half acre. The midway in the center adds about 3,000 square feet, but this is scalable to any size. So each one of these paddocks in this example, let's say they're 30 by 90 feet. One of the benefits of this plan is to keep you from walking to the far corners of this lot to deliver water or grain if you're using grain. My personal plan is to avoid grain, feed hay in the off season, and that requires that you get a cow that comes from stock that was raised on grass. Now, way before you get your cow, you want to make sure that you have the best grasses available for that cow to eat, and that won't cost too much. Some people will clear the whole land. I'm not sure that's necessary. Now, this is how Pete at Few Acre Farms planted his fields originally, and you can screen grab this. Starting from bare or adding to what you have, you plant your grass, and then you do your layout using several different fence types you could choose from. Now, the center lane, the midway, that is going to be the heart of the operation. The water trough, a mineral bucket, or a hay station would be located closest to the house. You barely have to step into this plot of land to service your cow. Now, if your cow, let's call her Dixie, okay, for fun, we're calling this little cow Dixie. Now, Dixie is on paddock number 1, and during her stay on paddock number 1, the only gate that is open for her to walk through is the gate that allows her in paddock 1 to go out to the midway, get water, find shelter. Now, beside just grass, you can also enhance their life and make being a cow more interesting by maybe planting a couple trees that they can look forward to. For instance, a great choice would be a mulberry tree. Mulberries are extremely nutritious for humans and cows, and they're going to eat all the leaves, and it is packed with goodness. Now, if it's young, it's got to be well protected. You got to keep it away from them for a couple years. And you might think an apple tree, which is great for cows, but remember I promised there won't be any flies on your cows? We'll get back to that in a second. So what else can we plant here? Another good choice would be pear trees. And you certainly don't need a tree in every paddock, and it would give them something to look forward to and keep their brain stimulated, not remembering if there's going to be a tree in the next paddock they're about to walk into. And the mulberry and the pear will not be fruiting at the same time, so the fruit will be spread out across the spring and summer. Now, because we have a Dexter or a Jersey Mini cow, a half an acre will suffice when you use rotational grazing. Now, let's put Dixie, our milking cow, on paddock number 1. She's going to spend 2 days on paddock number 1. She's going to eat everything. She's going to eat the tasty stuff first, and then she'll spend the next day and a half eating the other stuff that's very nutritious but doesn't taste as good. Now, how long it takes is up to the cow. It could be 3 days on a paddock. And then we move her to paddock number 2. There's 2 reasons why we did that. 1, she ate everything on paddock number 1, and 2, she pooped all over the place, and that's where the flies are going to be born. And that's when parasites happen. Now, cows are easier to maintain than goats because cows don't eat as close to the earth as a goat will, and that's why goats have many more parasitical problems. Here's a note, don't start with a goat. Cows are entry level, goats and sheep are not. So 2 days on paddock 1, 2 days on paddock 2, we move her to paddock 3, where she's going to do day 5 and 6, but now we bring in the cleanup crew. 4 days after Dixie left paddock number 1, her 12 best friends come in. And those are chickens. You can use apples, but the seeds turn into cyanide. It would take 2 tablespoons full of seeds to kill a chicken. Probably won't happen, but do you want to take a chance? It's up to you. And those chickens are going to scratch through every cow pile and eat every single maggot that is trying to turn into a fly on that field. If you're a chicken, maggots are very nutritious, all protein. And those maggots help in the production of your eggs or more meat on your meat chickens. So while they're picking for maggots, they're spreading out those cow patties, which better service the ground underneath them. Instead of getting one big clump in a 1 foot square area, you're getting that clump spread across 3 or 4 square feet. Now, because flies are in the larva stage from their 2nd day of life till their 12th day of life, you can even put your chickens 6 days behind Dixie. But for this example, we'll stick with 4 days behind Dixie, and we'll do a full rotation around all 8 paddocks, which will bring us to 16 days. At this point, Dixie has eaten everything on this half acre that is nutritious, whether it is tasty or not. By dividing those paddocks, we limit what she's able to eat. So instead of eating all the ice cream, she's got to eat her vegetables too. And 16 days later, on paddock 1, all that poop that got spread out by the chickens is pretty much starting to return to their earth. By now, depending on the time of the year, paddock 1 should be completely regrown. Now, if the grass growing in paddock 1 on day 16 is going to seed, then you want to keep her on those pastures less time, maybe a day and a half, because she's going to avoid that stuff when it goes to seed because it starts turning more into wood than tasty soft grass. Now, if you wanted 2 cows or you planned on having a cow and a calf, the calf's mostly on the mother, would now be 60 by 180, and the overall size would be 400 by 240, but the size doesn't matter as much as what's growing in it. If you got garbage in there, you can only leave them in there for maybe a half a day. Now, if you have another half acre to spare, I would leave half of it on the east and half of it on the west, so you have 2 smaller fields on either side of this creation, and that way you can not only expand if you need to lengthen the paddocks, you also have the ability to grow hay and cut hay for hard times like August or winter. When you're first learning, go out there after she's on a paddock for the first day, look around and see how much stuff has not been eaten, or has everything been eaten. If that's the case, instead of 2 full days, try a day and a half or a day. You can also harvest the branches from the mulberry bush and hang those upside down like tobacco leaves. All the nutrients, antioxidants will stay in those leaves. You can feed them in the dry season or in the winter. Quick note, your chickens are going to live in a chicken tractor. This is my chicken tractor. I pull it around by a chain around the yard, and my chickens live there. So when you free range your chickens in those independent paddocks, at night they're going to go back to the chicken tractor. You're going to go out there, close it up so the wolves and raccoons can't get in. As a matter of fact, I just had a coyote trying to get in, and I'll have a YouTube short on that soon. And if you're wondering what's with the 2 bucket system, that's where they lay the eggs. Go to my playlist to see a full build on this. I made it very light and pretty inexpensive. Peace and love worldwide. Live your life before your life lives you. And subscribe to this channel. I explore America and subjects you're interested in.